another video from me today, and that is going to be my wrap up for the month of March. It was a pretty low reading month for me just because I only read 8 books in the month. In the previous 2 months before I had read 11, so I kind of went a bit lower than what I've normally been reading, my normal average. But the reason for that is it was my 18th birthday and I had a lot of people seeing me, a lot of people over, so I had to socialise and not read. And even though I had a readathon in the month as well, I only read 3 books from that. So hopefully next month will be better. But anyway, I'm going to show you the books I read. So yeah. The first book I read this month was 52 Reasons to Hate My Father by Jessica Brody. I really enjoyed this. It was such a cute little contemporary, and it had a really good theme with her having to do 52 jobs before she could get a trust fund. So she's this preppy, the daughter of a multi-millionaire, so she knows money, she knows how to spend it. So to have to go and work for the first time in her life is a really hard experience for her. And she's got this guy Luke that has to follow her around while she does the jobs, and she tries to get out of it. It never works, but she grows, which is really good, and she learns so many things, and she becomes such a better person through this experience. But it's a really good book and I loved it. The next book I read was First Life by Gina Showalter. I actually really enjoyed this. It had a really good premise, really good ideas, and it's the second time I've read from Gina Showalter, and the first book I read from hers I really didn't enjoy, so this made up for it. But if you want to hear more of my thoughts on this book, I made a full video review, so I'll link that in the description down below, and you can check that out if you want. The next book I read was Cruel Crown by Victoria Avard, and I just think, even though this is like less than 200 pages, it actually bored me so much and it took me so long to read. Like, I liked the stories, it was good to get this like insight on people, but I just got really bored during it, and I was always like, yeah, okay. What annoyed me with the second one is how they had these like coded messages all the time. I just skipped that. I legit was just like, I don't care. And there was code names and stuff, and I was just too lazy to try and figure out what was going on, so I just read the bits that were actually the novel and not the coded bits. I liked the first one though, to see how the first queen, Coraine, I really enjoyed her. She was interesting, so I still gave this book 3 stars. It's just, it was kind of boring and it took a while for me to get through, so yeah. The next book I read was Steadfast by Claudia Gray. I read the first one like legit 3 years ago, and I've had these two, the Steadfast and Sorceress, sitting on my shelf for so long, and I was just like, you know what, I just need to read this book, get it done, get this trilogy done. So I started reading it for the readathon, and I really enjoyed it. I had a bit of trouble remembering what happened in the first book, but it came back to me as I read through this, so it was really good. Then I read Waterfall by Lauren Kate, and this is not how I expected the second book in this duology, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if the third book's happening now, but it seemed like it ended, so I'm gonna say it's a duology. It just got weird. Like, I was so, like, the first book, Teardrop, was actually so great, and I loved Anda, and Eureka was a great character, and their whole thing happened, but then Atlantis rose, and it was like, oh, well, shit, it's happening. And then it got really weird, and she broke my heart. Like, she pushed Anda away, and I'm just like, you just want my one ship. And just, it felt like nothing happened in this book. It was just, you know, they're in a cave, they're dying, everyone in the world's dead now, and Atlas is all trying to kill everyone, and she sort of turns into a villain, and it's weird. And I think she might have died at the end of the book, but I'm not sure. I'm really just confused about this book, so I'm not too sure about how I feel about it, so I only gave it 3 stars, but it's probably more of a 2.5, so it's just a weird book. Then I read Sorceress, so I completed the trilogy this month, which I was really happy about. It ended really well, it was nice, and I liked some more relationships that were growing in this book. Like, first you only had the relationship between Nadia and Mato, but then this new relationship started growing, and I was just like, yes! Get together, and it happened, and I was like, yay, it's happening, it's happening. But yes, really good, and I finally finished the trilogy. I feel so accomplished. Then I read The Dressmaker by Rosaline Han, and then I watched the movie again, and that was a really good experience, because I really liked with this book that there was so much in the, like, there's so much more in the book, and that normally happens with like book to movie adaptations, but there was like 20 times the amount of characters in the book, so I was so like, So I'm really glad that I watched the movie first, because I probably would not have understood like half of this book. But what was also interesting was there was a lot of scenes in the movie that weren't in the book. So it had that, and if you've seen the Dressmaker movie already and you want to read the book, I will warn you that it doesn't happen in the same way as the movie. So with the movie, they change things to make this epic story, but it doesn't happen the exact same in the Dressmaker, and it's a bit different, but still a very enjoyable read. The last book I read for the month was Legend by Marie Lu. I really like this, and this is one of like the first dystopian series that came out after Divergent and Hunger Games, so I'm very excited, and I actually really liked it. Even though I've read quite a few dystopian series, it does feel different to me, and the story was great, and June and Day were great characters. It annoyed me that they were 15 though. I don't know why, but it's like you can't be 15 and fighting the world. You're too young. You gotta at least be 17 to 18 if it's gonna be young adult, but I was just like, you're babies, you can't do it. Can't do it. I'm too old now to be able to see people who were so young be able to do things. But seriously, I actually loved this book. It was really interesting. The story was great, and the thing that happened in the end, I was like, oh, what's happening? It's great. So yeah. And as you can see, this month I read the 2 books that I pulled out of my TBR bin. Always seem to be reading the books right at the end of the month though. But both were really good, so I'm happy that I read them. So these are the books that I read for the month. It's pretty good stack of books, I think. I did pretty good, I think, so yay. So here's my love hut again with my tally. As you can see, I only read 8 books, but I bought 15, so I have an extra 7 books still that I'll need to read. So hopefully, 1 month I will hopefully have less on this thing. Like, I've read more than I bought, so I hope so it happens. Now it's time for me to pick the next 2 books that I will try and read for the month. Just shake this up. There's so many in here now. It is crazy. I don't know which one to pick. Okay, there's one, and just trying to make this like not that I'm picking the 2 on the top. Oh, they're connected. Go away. Okay, first one is Save Me by Jenny Elliott, and the second book that I will try and read is A Touch of Power by Marie V. Schneider. Yay! These are 2 really books that I actually really want to read, so I'm excited to read them, to start them, so yay! But anyway guys, thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you soon.